So I started this piece thinking I was going to do a bunch of like round bees kind of balancing on each other like I've done before, but I already started off kind of not on the right track for that. I started doing, kind of odd shapes instead of round shapes. So right away, my kind of idea of these round things balancing on each other just didn't happen. And I solidified that thought here when I just started painting in specific shapes, like that thing there is a Dorito, and above that is a piece of toast, and next to that I saw a cactus, and there's two oddball shapes up top that I hadn't figured out yet. There I'm painting a hot dog. And the thing in the bottom right that looked like a tiki man frog thing at first, but I think he turned into a couple of two tacos on top of each other. So, and the thing to the bottom left is turning into a mushroom. And here I have these just these random shapes, and I'm just trying to kind of paint something in the background to ground it or to tie these things together. And here I'm just trying to solidify these shapes to just define what they are. Like right now, those two things up top, they're just good spheres. I'm not quite sure what they're going to be yet. And I'm just outlining everything and giving everything a definite space to where it needs to be in this painting. And I'm just adding a little color here now just to kind of help define what everything is and how everything belongs to each other and how they sit next to each other in terms of value and color and all that crap. I didn't like how that piece of bread was looking. It looked too plain white breadish. Duh. But I decided to slice it in half and kind of tilt them in, and that kind of turned into a problem. I didn't kind of have a reference, and I was just kind of winging it, and the winging it just wasn't working. But it just took a few attempts before I kind of got it to an acceptable look. So I'm painting some Cheetos in the background, and Irene stops by to mow the lawn. Her and Cameron came by, and we kind of bullshitted a little bit, just bitched about getting older and everything else, but it's good to see her. I'm painting these cheese doodles and like a blue sky background to, number one, give this a sense of place, but also to connect everything, because I'm going to be trimming out part of the edges with a scroll saw, and everything needs to be overlapping or touching, and you can't have any really tiny contact points between the objects. I'm just kind of adding a little bit of depth and dimension to these Cheetos here. And I have I'm using basically exterior house paint for this. And I have some just nice colors that are really hitting that kind of that cheese curl type of vibe. So I'm really happy with what's going on there. So I got this like blue round thing behind the sandwich and the hot dog. I was thinking maybe like a coin at first, or a medal or something flat, but I added some dimension to it, and it started looking like a planet or like an Earth type thing. So that's what I did. I'm just painting this tomato, or maybe it's an apple. I used a really nice red and orange, some white, and this really dark violet, which is almost black. I'm just kind of building some depth on this mushroom. Just put when you're building depth, just whatever's closest to you is basically lighter, and what's furthest away is a little darker. That's the secret. I wasn't liking that big round thing in the upper left. I was liking the color, so I just changed it to just a bunch of like eggplants. And I can do that. I can do anything because I'm an artist. Artists can do anything. Oops. It rained. I'm just building up the pickle here, just pushing back, just figuring out the darkness and the highlights and all that shit. And I'm looking at it now, and those tacos on the bottom right, I think I want to change them to wontons. I hope I remember this. So here I'm I'm trimming out the board with a jigsaw. Um, this saw is perfect. It cuts through this material so nice, um, and that's all I'm doing here. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting these 2x4s into 4-foot lengths, and I'll be attaching them to the back of the piece with screws and industrial adhesive. This serves two purposes. One, it helps to kind of keep the board stabilized and keep it from warping. It keeps it nice and straight. And two, the 2x4s in the back, it gives are something that I can attach to or bolt through to from the signpost when I'm installing this. So I'm cutting off this little extra like 1/4 inch of 2x4 that I kind of attached incorrectly to the back of the board. And right here I'm just painting the edges of this thing to keep it a little kind of waterproof. And what I'm doing is, I'm just matching the color of what's up front and painting that on the side. So I have everything kind of figured out, the colors and the shapes and everything. I'm going over everything now with a different set of paints, with some acrylic paints, and this set is a little brighter, more kind of in your face. So I'm kind of just going everything, those purple eggplant, the big apple, or maybe it's a tomato, I haven't figured it out, and that pickle cactus. And here I'm painting like it's like a little, maybe like a diving board coming out of this guy's mouth, and putting a little bird on the end. And I'm just getting the big Dorito and the hot dog. I like the hot dog. I found some reds I don't normally use, and it gave it a nice hot doggy vibe there. And I'm also getting a little bit of paint on the mushroom too. Oh, the eyes on this pickle thing were bothering me. They look too jive, so I decided to make them not eyeballs but eye holes. And I think he's looking a little better here. This was a little issue I needed to address. The sandwich just wasn't rendered correctly, and I didn't know which was in front of which, so I had to spend a little bit of time there and make it believable. And I needed to put something in between the two slices of bread, and it looks like it turned out to be a jelly-like substance. I'm putting a face on the Dorito now. I wanted him looking up at someone else up there. Maybe he's looking at that tomato, and there's something going on between them. Getting some polka dots on the mushroom. I made them green, bright green. They came out really good, so I'm going to leave it like that. I'm also putting a little bit of paint on those wedges on the bottom. I wanted them to be like pot stickers, but that seemed kind of dull, so I made them into lemon slices. I had one yellow lemon slice and one blue lemon slice. And that's kind of cool because those wedges on the bottom, they were originally tacos, then they were pot stickers, and kind of last minute decision, let's just make them citrus slices. And that's how things happen. So I'm pretty much done with this piece, but I wanted to put a coat of varnish on it just so it has like a consistent sheen to it.